We turn now to the high-stakes standoff between Britain and Iran. Day 7 since 15 British sailors were captured for allegedly trespassing in Iranian waters. This week, Tehran promised to release the one female sailor, then retracted it, refusing to let any of the prisoners go until Britain takes the blame. Neither side is backing down, and tensions are at a head. But as diplomats scramble to head off an international crisis, ABC's senior foreign correspondent Jim Sciutto reports on what it's like for the young men and women at the center of it all.
Officially, they're not hostages, but shown on Iranian television, paraded, says the British government. The 15 captured sailors and Marines certainly looked like hostages. Held against their will, facing what the British say are false accusations, and the only woman among them delivering what appear to be coerced confessions.
Obviously, we trespassed into their waters.
At the core of the dispute is where they were captured. Today, the Iranian government released charts placing the British patrol 500 yards inside Iranian waters, a presentation mimicking a British briefing yesterday with charts and satellite readings putting them 2 full miles inside Iraqi waters. Today, Prime Minister Tony Blair was clearly losing patience.
I felt the same as most people do, which is a sense of disgust that people are used in that way. But the important thing is that we just keep making it very clear to the Iranian government that this is not a situation that can be resolved by anything other than the unconditional release of all our people.
British officials here in London say they're increasingly outraged and confused. They don't know what the Iranians want or what they're going to do next. They're particularly baffled by letters written by one of the captives, Faye Turney, including one released today calling on British forces to withdraw from Iraq.
My name's Leading Seaman Faye Turney.
This is not the first time Iran has captured the world's attention by capturing foreigners. Most famously, Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran in 1979 and held 52 American hostages for 444 days. But just 3 years ago, it happened again, when 8 British servicemen were seized in the same disputed waters between Iraq and Iran. And it is their harrowing experience that has many here in Britain worried about how the current captives could be treated. The detainees were blindfolded, paraded on television, marching in lockstep, and, most disturbingly, subjected to a mock execution. Former Royal Marine Scott Fallon was one of them.
We were taken from a bus, walked into sort of wasteland, which was there's a ditch in the wasteland. We walked down there, still blindfolded, in a line, and there was guys, Iranians with automatic weapons on the banks of the ditch, pointing at, and you think to yourself, well, it's not a good sign.
My name is Chief Petty Officer Robert Webster.
Fallon and his fellow servicemen were made to apologize on television before being released.
I apologize, sir. I am sorry.
Are there hints in the images of the current captives that they are also being mistreated? We talked to Robert Phipps, an analyst trained in reading body language, and he saw worrisome signs.
When you look at that smile, is that a real smile?
No, certainly not. As we can see there, when you have a genuine smile, there's 2 muscles that come into play. The zygomatic muscle at the corner of the mouth and the orbicularis oculi, which is at the corner of the eye. And that's when you get the corners of the eye and the corners of the mouth meet up for a genuine smile. When it's not genuine, you don't see any teeth. And like that one, the smile fades as quickly as it comes onto the face.
So Phipps says it's particularly easy to detect Seaman Faye Turney's discomfort because we can compare her demeanor in detention.
How about the way she speaks? Very plodding.
Yes, and if we compare that with how she spoke in the previous footage, this is delivered very slow, very monotonous, very almost monosyllabic. It's a message for other people. It's not a message that she would want to put out.
With her more relaxed mood during an interview just before her capture.
A lot of people find it hard to understand why and how I can do the job I do. But I've always wanted to join the forces ever since I was like 10 watching TV.
Some members of the British military are given training in how to beat interrogation. But such preparation is normally reserved for pilots and special forces soldiers who are more likely to be captured than servicemen doing routine sea patrols. Under the Geneva Conventions, captured soldiers are required only to give their name, rank, and serial number. But that applies to nations at war, which Britain and Iran are not. In fact, they have full diplomatic relations. The question remains, who in the Iranian government is behind their capture and who's deciding their future?
There are different power centers, different people. You're never quite sure what the consensus is and what the ultimate answer is.
One more question, is there anything the captains themselves can do to hasten their release? The advice from former captive Scott Fallon is to stay calm and try to win over the captors.
Because you put your true, you try and make some sort of connection with the guards, make it sort of personal. You don't antagonise them as much as you can. Make things go more smoothly.
Tonight, a smooth resolution, say officials here, is all that Britain is hoping for. I'm Jim Sciutto for Nightline in London.
We have learned tonight that Iran has sent a formal note to the British ambassador. Though such exchanges are confidential, the British Foreign Office said they are, quote, giving the message serious consideration and will soon respond formally to the Iranian government. We will stay on the story. When we come back, a new way to see the world.